Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello everyone, welcome to all my listeners. I'm super excited to share with you today's episode about number 4. This is a number that is usually kind of like looked down on, and today I hope to redeem its name and quality. But before I go into all of that, if you're new here, so first of all, welcome. And I want you to know that this podcast is dedicated to discussing numerology in a more in-depth manner as a path for inner transformation, inner growth, self-understanding. And I try to make numerology really accessible and applicable for everyday life matters, to make it down to earth and make it usable for us to each, know ourselves better and make real life decisions that matter, that propel us to grow and expand. And some cool things you should know about if you want to dive deeper into numerology. So if you haven't done so yet, please join my Facebook numerology group. It's a very engaging, vivid, and active numerology group where you can still expand your knowledge, further your knowledge, get in contact with kindred spirits along the path. The link is found in the podcast's main page, and you can also find it on Facebook under the name Numerology, GPS for the Soul. Now, if you haven't gotten a numerology reading so far in your life, I really highly recommend you do so. And you can contact me through my website link. If you want to study numerology in a more methodical, in a more self-paced manner, I suggest you check out my online self-study numerology course. So all the links are provided in the episode description and in the podcast's main page. And please make sure also to join my newsletter. You can find it on my homepage, on my website, if you want to get further numerology education, spiritual guidance, and all kinds of special perks that only my newsletter subscribers get. Having said that, without further ado, let us jump in. Let us dive into number 4 and understand it much deeper. So first of all, I want to say, of all numbers, I've seen number 4 being the least favored by people over the course of my career as a numerologist. To say that this is that number 4 deserves it, I don't know. I feel like I must do justice in this episode and really redeem 4's incredible qualities. Now, awful people are kind of disappointed to discover that they have number 4 in one of their core numbers. I've seen that especially true with women, perhaps because number 4 is perceived more strict or masculine or a bit rigid. But in general, there's this tendency to look at 4 as a kind of boring, squarish, conservative number, playing by the rules, very obedient, right? Not so creative. But I want to say that this to look only at these sides of number 4, some of which are very true and real, doesn't really do justice to the number, especially because it only looks at one side of the coin. It looks only at the shadow side, or at least at some more limiting side of this number. But I want us to explore in this episode the incredible, the humble, the helpful side and nature of this number. And I'm really going to be honest with you guys, when I when I talk about the beautiful qualities of number 4, it can really bring tears to my eyes. I mean, there's an immense beauty to this number. And so hopefully I'm going to be able to show you that number 4 is a blessed number, and there's so much beauty and preciousness that this number brings into our life. So let's just get right into it. I just want to apologize. I'm recording this episode and my neighbor just started playing the piano. So if you hear some background noises, please, my sincere apologies for that. That's what you get when you have like a very thin wall separating between you and your neighbors. So, okay. So number 4 is perhaps, one of the most loyal and reliable friends and family members you can possibly get. And, it's not something to just like quickly, skip over and continue. The loyalty, the commitment, this solid presence that number 4 brings is just unbelievable. And I titled this episode, right, Humble and Helpful. And I want to say, like, number 4 has this quality of being a rock, a true rock in the family or as a friend, someone that you'll know will really be there for you. Okay? So number 4, like, is a person you can truly rely on. You can really know that they're gonna be there in times of need, in times of trouble, when things get difficult. They're gonna be there. They're gonna hold the ground. 4, for those of you who do not know, 4 represents the root chakra, right? The ground, the foundation. Somebody that really holds you, right, from the bottom, from underneath everything, gives you that sense of I'm holding your back. And 4s that are truly connected to their power, to their element, are really going to give you that feeling. They're going to be solid friends. You're going to know they have your back. They're going to be family members. They have your back. Now, it's not always going to take, the shape of emotional support. So there is a truth about 4 not being like a very emotional personality. That's more fitting to like number 6, for example. But still, through their deeds, through their actions, through their presence, through their sense of responsibility, you're going to see you're going to find like an incredible friend or family member in a true 4. Now, another quality that people don't usually talk about when it comes to number 4, like the most common topics that are talked about that pertain to number 4 are, hard working, for example, or putting effort into things, or responsibility. But number 4 really loves helping. They love helping people. They love being helpful in general. They love helping the ones they love, but in very real and down-to-earth ways. So it's like 4s are less words and much more action, more deeds, okay? They truly love being a pillar of helpfulness, okay? Like reaching out with a helping hand, knowing that they for a number 4 to feel that they had your back, that they really helped you in some way, is very satisfying. And I think it's what's there. So they're not going to necessarily, be your therapist or like the person who's going to sit down with you and talk to you about your painful emotions. But they're going to make sure that you're safe. They're going to make sure that you're healthy. They're going to make sure that you're okay. They're really going to be there to make sure that you're held. And that's incredible. Like, say you have like a strong 4 in your chart, and then let's say another 2 or another like emotional number, it can also make you into like a very good therapist or even physical therapist, right? Somebody who really takes care of you. Now, another quality I want to talk about is how 4s will very often, do the hard work that others aren't willing to do. They have this deep, deep sense of sense of duty and responsibility. It's like, I would even say like an unmatched sense of duty compared to like the other numbers, right? So like fours will very often sacrifice themselves and even their comfort, in order to do the dirty work that other people are not really willing to do. And here I'm going to focus more on like the side of helping people, of truly being there. And in order to demonstrate that, I just want to share like real stories from my life. And I am apologizing. I want to apologize if like I get into some kind of like sensitive details or like very descriptive or not so easy like scenery and so on, because what I'm going to share with you is a bit difficult, but I feel like I must do this because that's going to really communicate like what 4 is really about. And it's a story about my father. And so my father has like a life path number 4, and my grandfather, his own father-in-law, many years ago, he suffered from several strokes, and which really debilitated him, and he could not function on his own anymore. Now, my grandfather, he has 3 kids. So my mother, her sister, and their brother. And when he was truly sick and he couldn't, shower by himself, couldn't make himself food, he had to be, put to bed, or, you had to help him like put on his clothes, everything, use the bathroom. It's not his children that took care of him, but my father who took care of him for 2 full years until his death. My father was the one that took care of him day after day after day, making him food, putting him to bed, helping him with the bathroom, making sure he has everything he needs, buying groceries for him, really taking care of someone who's not even your own father, but being so dedicated, like seeing a situation of someone in need and not being able to turn your back to that, right? So like, and it was very, very difficult for my grandfather's own children to do that. It's hard work. It's a lot of sacrifice. And well, guess who did it in the end? Well, my father, right? His son-in-law, basically. My father did that. The person with the 4 sacrifice of himself to really help him until his death, which was, well, unfortunately, through suicide. So my grandfather shot himself to death. And he did that because he promised to himself, he vowed that he will not die in a hospital. He didn't want to have machines like stuck to his body or whatever. And he put an end to his own life. And again, it was my father, who just went into the room and found him dead and was, just present there crying and cleaning the blood. Okay. And again, I'm sorry for these very vivid descriptions. I'm not going to go into more details, but I just want to show you how down to earth and real it gets. But it's like, it's incredible. It's so touching, right? This level of sacrifice. On another occasion, my father, got a call from his friend telling him that he's not feeling well. Now, that friend has other friends, but he chose to call my father because he knows if I'm calling this guy, like, he's going to show up. And it didn't take long before my father truly showed up at his place and immediately took him to hospital. And by doing so, saved his life from a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. And this is, again, right, it's so down to earth. It's so helpful. It's so just like a solid rock. That's really, really incredible. When I say that, it's really touching for me. So as I said, like, 4s are willing to take on, in many ways, like the burdens of other people. And in essence, they're like people of support. And you will see them like on subtler levels, even taking on others' karma. It's like almost like I'm gonna let me carry the burden for you. Such is their loyalty. It's so impressive. It's so touching. It's so beautiful, right? Like you can see sometimes spiritual teachers, for example. I'm talking like, because we're talking here about like numerology and some of us are like involved in spirituality, right? Spiritual teachers, there are some teachers who tend to take the karma of their students, like the suffering of their students on themselves in order to alleviate that burden from their students and process it through their own system, which is such an incredible sacrifice. I mean, it's not yours to live, and still you're willing, again, to do that dirty work, right? That work that most of us don't want to do, even on the subtle level. So it's really, really beautiful. And you know what's so amazing about number 4? And this is the first part of the title, says humbleness. So I've described like various ways in which 4s are helpful and committed, and how they have your back. But what's the most amazing thing is that even after doing like such an incredible act of kindness and sacrifice, they don't boast over their great deeds. They don't need like a round of great applause. Rather, they prefer to keep like a low profile. They don't want to have like a great fuss around that. They don't want you to like put them in the center of attention and let everybody know how well they did and like, make a whole event out of that. They prefer to keep things simple and honest. I think like, a simple thank you, a simple and honest thank you will do. And that, again, like just shows you the very, very down-to-earth, humble nature of number 4, this nature of integrity, this nature of helpfulness, of support. Their commitment is truly unfailing. And you can really trust that a 4 is going to be there for you in times of need in a very real way, right? And I'm talking, when I say very real, I mean not only with beautiful words. They always say that like, who your true friends are, like when things get rough, and I think that is very true. And I think that it's not that words cannot be very supportive. I think words can also be very practical when they are needed. But sometimes, we need action. We need things to be real. And when things get really difficult, for some of us, that's when we disappear and we vanish and we can't contain it. And I'm not suggesting or saying or judging that. I'm not saying we should be able to contain that. Not all of us can. Not all of us are number 4. But I want to point out the beauty, right? Like that number 4 can help you in a very real way and be there even if like it's really hard and really difficult. So this unfailing commitment. So as you can see, number 4 is not only boring, not only strict, not only conservative, but also really, really inspiring and touching. And frankly speaking, vitally important for all of us, right? Without 4, we don't have a ground. We don't have that like unfailing support system. We don't have that rock that we can lean on. So it is a true solid ground for all of us. So I hope that if you ever thought badly about this number, whether you had it or, in general, whether that was your impression, perhaps this podcast episode will make you reconsider. And I also hope, like with all episodes, that, this inspires you to learn more about the numbers and numerology and educate yourself better in numerology. I think this is, we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to the world to make it a better place with more understanding and mutual understanding. Okay, guys, so just a quick reminder. I really welcome you to join my Facebook group. And you can find my numerology Facebook group, of course, and you can find the link in the podcast's main page. If you haven't done a numerology reading before, you can contact me through my website link, also provided in the podcast description and the podcast main page. If you want to study numerology in a methodical way by yourself, then please check out my self-study course. Again, all the links are provided in the episode description and the podcast's main page. And join my newsletter by all means on my homepage. You can find it, and you're going to get more numerology education, spiritual guidance education, and many new tips and special perks that only my newsletter subscribers get. Okay, my friends. Hope you enjoy this episode. Feel free to share. And as always, I will see you in the next episodes. Take care. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.